There are 3 things you should never do if you want to be happy. Number 1. Never let people treat you like you're nothing. When we were younger, many of us used to have this mindset of putting others before ourselves, doing stuff for people who didn't even ask for it, always trying to please them. And then when it came time for those people to return the favor, they wouldn't be there. This is something that I personally struggle with, and it is something that has taken me years to overcome. But setting boundaries is so important in creating a healthy dynamic in relationships, because when you set boundaries, you're not only communicating to other people how to treat you, but you're also telling yourself how you want to be treated. This is why a lot of times when people say that boundaries are selfish, they're really just scared of being told no or scared of confrontation. But having boundaries protects our mental and emotional well-being because it creates a safe space for us, where we can feel comfortable enough to actually be vulnerable with somebody else. If you don't have boundaries, you'll be a people pleaser. If you're a people pleaser, you will lose yourself. Number 2, don't ever blame yourself for someone else's actions. When we were younger, many of us were raised to believe that it's our responsibility to make other people happy. That if we clean our room, then mom would be happy. If we get good grades, then dad would be proud. If we lose weight, then our friends will like us. And if we change, then our partner will love us more. But blaming yourself for someone else's behavior is essentially taking full responsibility for their happiness, which means that you'll end up sacrificing your own needs and wants to constantly try to make them happy. But the problem with this is that you essentially making your own happiness contingent on somebody else's feelings. And that's not only unfair to them, but it's also unfair to yourself. What you have to realize is that when you start blaming yourself for someone else's feelings, you're saying to yourself, I am responsible for making this person feel a certain way. Instead of saying, I want to make my partner happy, say, I want to be with someone who is happy. Because if you're going to be with someone, you want to be with someone who can experience emotions regardless of whether or not you're there. So take a step back and think about it like this. If you're dating someone who gets upset at you for no reason, does that mean that you should change the way that you are just so that they won't get upset? No, because that's not fair to you. It's okay to acknowledge that sometimes we need space from each other. Sometimes we need to be apart just so that we can grow as individuals. We can't force someone to feel a certain way. All we can do is control our own actions and reactions. So focus on being the best version of yourself and let your partner experience emotions regardless of whether or not you're there. That's what a healthy relationship looks like. And number 3, never ignore red flags. This is probably the hardest thing for most people to do because a lot of times we tend to ignore red flags. We tend to overlook them because we like the person. We like the idea of being in a relationship, or maybe we're just afraid of being alone. But ignoring red flags is like ignoring cracks in the foundation of a house. You think you can ignore them forever, but eventually it's going to catch up to you. Red flags can come in all shapes and sizes, whether it's trust issues, commitment issues, emotional unavailability, infidelity, cheating, ghosting, lying, disrespect, etc. If someone is showing multiple red flags, it's probably not a coincidence. There's a pattern here. And the longer you stay in that relationship, the harder it's gonna be to break out of it. Because the more time you spend with someone, the deeper the trauma bonds become. So if you've been with someone for a while and they've shown multiple red flags, then it's probably not gonna be easy to leave because you've already invested so much time and energy into that relationship. But had you left earlier when you first saw those red flags, it would have saved you a lot of time, effort, pain, and suffering. Now, I am not saying that you should break up with someone as soon as you see the first red flag, because every single person has flaws. Every single person has things that they need to work on. So don't break up with someone over the little things. But if you see consistent red flags and they're unwilling to change, then you have to ask yourself, am I wasting my time here, or am I actually investing in a future that will lead to my unhappiness? And look, I'm not saying that you have to be with someone who's perfect, because nobody is perfect. But you should be with someone who's willing to work on themselves. Someone who's aware of their flaws and they're actively trying to improve. You want to be with someone who's self-aware. Self-awareness is key because when you're self-aware, you understand how your actions affect other people. So these are 3 things that you should never do if you want to be happy. Let me know in the comments below which one was your favorite. And also don't forget to like and subscribe. I post new videos every single week. Thank you so much for watching. Have a beautiful day.